Have you ever noticed that the most competent person in the room is rarely the one who gets promoted? That the person who follows every rule perfectly is often the one who stays in the same role for 5 consecutive years, watching other people with less experience fly past them. It's frustrating because we were taught that life is a meritocracy. Do the work, get the reward. But if you look at the research and the reality of how high-level decisions are actually made, there is a second, invisible set of rules running underneath all of it. And if you don't know these rules, you are not just playing the game purely. You are not even on the board. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on the 3 unspoken rules of professional success. These are the 3 things that your manager knows but is never going to tell you. The things that explain why some careers compound and other careers stagnate, even when the work quality is mostly identical. Let's go get into it together. Rule number 1. Nobody gets to the top alone, and the people who think they can are the ones who plateau. There is a concept in sociology called the social capital theory. It was formalized by Nahapiet and Goshal, and it suggests that your career trajectory is not primarily determined by what you know or even what you do. It is determined by who you can mobilize in general in the business. Most people focus relentlessly on being a high individual performer, and the high individual performers, they are respected, but they are also seen as tools, reliable, capable, and ultimately replaceable. The people who scale their careers and their influence are the ones who build what I call the bridge capital. They connect people across different silos. They solve interpersonal friction. They become the rationale, the glue of an organization. Think about your own workplace. There is almost certainly someone who is not the most technically skilled person, let's say, but everyone wants them in the room. Everyone copies them on the email. That person has a social capital multiplier so high that even the mediocre output gets amplified by everyone around them. If you are the smartest person in the room but nobody genuinely enjoys solving problem with you, your multiplier is 0. And 0 times anything, remember, it's still 0. It's an uncomfortable truth. But the first shift to make is to stop obsessing over your personal output and to start asking, how can I make the people around me look better? That is how you become indispensable in a team. This one makes people uncomfortable, but the science is ironclad. It's called the halo effect. The halo effect, first described by the psychologist Edward Thorndike, shows that if you signal authority in one domain, people subconsciously assume that you are more competent across all domains. If you look and sound like a leader, people assume that you are more capable at your actual job than you might be. I'm not telling you to fake competence, be careful. I'm telling you that your competence is being systematically undervalued if you don't package it correctly. Think about why great communicators at your company always seems to get resourced first. Why the person who presents their work well always seems to get the credit, even when the team did most of the lifting, most of the hard work. This is the narrative ownership. If you do brilliant work but don't know how to frame and present that work to the people who make the final decisions, the work itself effectively didn't happen. Success is not just about doing the thing, it's about owning the story of the thing. Practically, this means 3 things. First, learn to present your work better than you are asked. Send the summary before the meeting. Secondly, speak with certainty. Even when you have questions, there is difference between intellectual humility and projecting doubt. And third, match the visual language of the level that you want to reach, not the level that you are currently at. Act as the person you want to become. The third rule now is the most important for long-term success and the most often ignored. Most people are rewarded early in their careers for being exceptional doers. They execute tasks, they produce output, they are reliable and fast and thorough. But there is the trap nobody warns you about. The very behaviors that got you noticed in the first 5 years of your career become the ceiling that blocks you in the next 10 years. To reach the next level of wealth, influence, or impact, you must make the shift from doer to an architect. Now, an architect doesn't just do the work. An architect designs the system that enables the work. They ask not how do I solve this problem, but how do I build a structure so this class of problem never occurs again. Research on adaptive leadership shows that the highest performing professionals in 2026 are those who can consistently step back from the daily noise and identify the signal, the structural change that creates leverage across the entire operation. Practically, look at your calendar this week. For every problem that you are solving, ask, is this a problem I'm solving for the first time or the fifth time? If it is the fifth time, your job isn't to solve it again. Your job is to architect the system that eliminates it completely. These three rules are not about being political or manipulative. They are about understanding how human beings actually operate and aligning your effort, of course, with that reality instead of fighting it. Here is the truth now. The people who advance faster are not the most talented. They are the most strategically aware. They know the rules of the room that they are in, not the room they think they are in. My challenge for you today, look at your last 3 major wins. Write down whether each one came purely from your individual output or whether it had an element of one of those 3 rules. I would be willing to bet that the answer is more nuanced than you think. Drop your answer in the comments. I genuinely read them all. We are a small channel still. And if you are ready to stop being the best kept secret in your industry and start becoming the architect that we are talking about, the architect of your own success, the success story you want to build, subscribe to this channel because every week we are going to decompose how to build a vision and how to architect the future that we want. I will see you in the next one.